the grand outdoors, a pastime that many South Africans like to enjoy. This over here is also pretty grand. In fact, it casts a gigantic shadow over there because it now has a third row at the back. It's 98% new, and this car over here makes up a third of Jeep's sales. So you know it's important to Jeep. But is it going to be important to the buying public? Let's check out the 5th generation Grand Cherokee. So let's talk about the design of the all-new Jeep Grand Cherokee. Number one, there are many homages to the Jeeps of old, and one of them is the sloped grille over here that comes with 7 slots. And according to Jeep aficionados, 7 is what many of them came out with. I'm not sure though.
While it is all new, a clear line can be drawn from the latest Grand Cherokee right back to the Jeep Wagoneer of the early 60s. Boasting true go-anywhere capability coupled with sedan-like levels of comfort, it is regarded by many as the first true SUV. Jeep recently revived the Grand Wagoneer nameplate for its new flagship, a vehicle that is even bigger and more luxurious than the Grand Cherokee.
You've got LED lights that go all the way to the back thanks to this creased line over here. And speaking of creases and lines, once again, a throwback to Jeeps of old. The boxy square shape surprisingly working really well on this modern take of the car. There's plenty symmetry that can be found here, and you can also see it on these wheel arches over here that house anything from 19 to 21-inch wheels depending on which grade you go for. You might notice that this one looks a little bit chunkier, and that's because it is. It's 36 millimeters wider thanks to an all-new chassis, and incidentally, it can also wade 100 millimeters deeper than the previous model. What is also noticeable is this chrome line that runs along the side and back of the vehicle. Once again, typical American Jeep styling. Also, at the back, there is quite a lot happening. I like this recessed badge over here, but what I don't like is that it does seem a little bit busy to some tastes. And a little Easter egg over here is this very strangely shaped L badge over there, but I'm nitpicking now. I think some people are actually going to like the back of this car, just not this guy. There are 3 grades available, and depending on which one you go for, you get a host of different options and changes inside. This one being the mid-spec means we do get 3 screens on the dash. Yes, you heard correct. There is a screen for the passenger. As strange as it is, I think that's going to take off quite a bit. You can also opt for panoramic sunroof and of course a host of new safety features such as adaptive cruise control, and it's even got a system that lets you know when traffic is coming out at intersections in front of you. And it's also got the option for night vision. These days, manufacturers have been forced to up the ante when it comes to in-car entertainment, and the Jeep is no different. It has a 19-speaker sound system, and it competes with the likes of Volvo and their incredible sound system. A really interesting way to try and attract Jeep customers, because this is a comfortable place to be otherwise. And what I mean by that is the design is actually designed to feel like a bit of a cockpit, although I think it's a bit more noticeable in the top spec model.
Dubbed the Summit Reserve, the flagship Grand Cherokee comes with an even plusher interior, trimmed in Tupelo leather named after a type of honey, beautiful diamond quilted inserts on the door panels and seats, as well as individually sculpted buckets in the second row, replacing the standard bench. With the second and third row seats lowered, you have an incredible 2,400 liters of luggage space. And usefully, both rows can be flipped forward automatically using the 4 buttons in the boot. The third row can be raised automatically by pushing the same switches, or these ones mounted below the rear passenger armrests.
The selling point on a model like this is the fact that you can put the entire family and the cousins in the back of a car like this. You've got a full air conditioning system over here with 4 USBs. But the big party trick is that rear row of seats, which unlike most manufacturers, isn't an afterthought. It was designed from the ground up, which means you get a very comfortable place to be and not the place that the kids or the short people get shoved into.
No Jeep review would be complete without mentioning off-road performance, and like its forebears, the latest Grand Cherokee doesn't flinch when the going gets tough. It comes with a renowned quadra-track four-wheel drive system with a rear electronic limited slip differential. In addition, the select terrain traction management system allows the driver to choose between the 5 available modes: auto, sport, rock, snow, and mud or sand. The height-adjustable quadra-lift air suspension delivers best-in-class ground clearance of 277 millimeters and sports 2 individual tanks, which allows for better self-leveling in extreme driving conditions.
It's hard to believe that in 2013, this vehicle was the best-selling SUV of its kind. But since then, BMW, Toyota, Audi, and many others have come to the party knowing that there's a lot happening at that table.
What the big Jeeps bring to the table is practicality and versatility, excellent off-road prowess, and a long list of standard features, all at a very competitive price. The only chink in its armor could be the powertrain. The 3.6 Pentastar V6 isn't short of horses, but it lacks the instant low-down punch and fuel efficiency of some of its diesel-powered rivals.
Usually I'd end this segment off saying that this is a good alternative to the big three. But the big three wouldn't exist in this segment if it wasn't for this car. I would choose the one with the biggest possible profile and the smallest possible rim size, because everything else in here is very, very good.